Thanks very much, Rene. Such generous introduction. My name's Nikolas Badminton. I'm English, but I'm also Canadian. I'm based up here in Toronto, in Ontario. I've been speaking about agriculture for a very long period of time now, and I'm a futurist. And what does a futurist do? Well, I help my clients look out 5, 10, 20 plus years into our futures, so we can do that better strategic planning and start to look for unforeseen risks. But my background is actually based in an agricultural community. I grew up in Somerset in the southwest UK in a village called Martock. My father used to manage the slaughterhouse. And then when he moved on from that, he worked in the dairy industry for 30 years. I very briefly worked in the dairy industry until my parents realized that I was actually quite talented at using the computer. So I went back to university, went to and studied artificial intelligence, linguistics, organizational change. I spent over 28 years out in the world building massive analytical artificial intelligence and data-based systems. Last 10 years, I've been focused on futures design. And where did that spark of inspiration to get into that area come from? Well, it came from when I was just a very young boy. I said I was very good at computers. I picked up the computer around about the age of 8 or 10, about the same time as I picked up this book. This is the Usborne Book of the Future. And this book was given to me by my father. And it was a vision of the world in 2000 and beyond. And we haven't quite hit the mark of what they were saying there, living on the moon, farming under the sea, robots in the homes and whatever. But it really sparked my interest as to what could happen in the world. And when I got back into futures design as a focus, it was interesting to me that I'd always been tracking those futures. And as a futurist, I work with some of the largest companies in the world to really wonder, how the world is changing. But what I do more than anything else is work with executives and people like you online to really challenge our collective poverty of imagination. Now, this is a situation we found ourselves in because we're so busy, we're so focused on what we're doing every single day that we forget to sort of sit back and just be curious and explore and daydream about what could be. So I try and reignite imagination and try and motivate people to explore what our futures could be on a daily basis. And the poverty of imagination can be overcome. But within the Futurist Think Tank that I run and the work that I do, there are sort of 4 main elements to the work that I undertake. I scan for signals and I try and identify trends. This keynote today is going to uncover a number of signals and trend areas for us to explore together. And then I help build out scenarios. So we might look to the year 2040 and ask, what if the world was different? And then I like to take it even further and write speculative fiction, make short films. And once we can really see these raw, visceral, creative explorations, we can be inspired to think, okay, if we can see what might happen, then how can we be different today in how we operate to create a pathway forward to that particular activity? So just to clarify what I do, we don't predict, we speculate as futurists. A lot of people say, 10 predictions of this and that. That's not what this is about. I speculate. I sort of wonder if these things are going to catch fire and change the world. I explore. This isn't about strategy. This presentation isn't about, taking this verbatim and going out and suddenly creating a whole future farm concept. But this is about discipline around research and not hyperbole. There's a lot of noise out there and hype about what the future may bring. I try and temper that with some really standard thinking about what we actually need and what's really important in the world. And most importantly, what I do is I help executives, and hopefully I'll help you online today, shift your mindset from what we're wondering about today, the next 3 to 5 years, to what if. What might happen in the next sort of 10, 20, 30, even 50 plus years, and what we can do about that as well. So what I like to do is really ground us in thinking about how we got to today. And the one thing that's very clear is that we're stuck in this industrial complex. The industrial complex started some sort of 270, 280 years ago across 3 different dimensions: information, transportation, and energy. And at that time, in the first industrial revolution, we saw huge amounts of innovation and the establishment of factories and transportation through trains, printing presses that were automatically running, and the such like. And where we find ourselves today is an evolution of that. But instead, we've got faster information than ever before, and data growth is incredible. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We've got electrified infrastructure, hopefully powered by renewable energy going forward. We're also going to touch in on that. And we've got transportation that's going faster than ever before, everything from autonomous vehicles to suborbital launches. So it's an exciting time, but these three dimensions are the dimensions that we still look at. And what's common in the fourth industrial revolution, as we call it, is that it's got a backbone of interconnectedness, the internet and the connectivity and sensors and data, artificial intelligence and beyond.